Hello, people. We thought we'd wait until Thursday night football became the blowout that we all expected it to be. I think the Lions are favourites in this game, but it was like 1.5 points.
Yeah, this is a crazy game so far.
If I gambled on the NFL, I definitely wouldn't make money because it's sod's law, right? But some of these lines, they seem
Yeah,
very enticing, I would
nor would I.
suggest.
This makes the Seahawks victory over the Lions look a lot better in hindsight.
I mean, clearly the Seahawks are the best team in the NFC.
Yeah,
Right, just like ignore, the other team called San Francisco and Philadelphia and all that
hey,
stuff.
hey, they're
Los
coming
Angeles, who
though.
they lost to.
They're coming though. Last year, people didn't think the Eagles were the Eagles until like midway. So
Right, and in similar fashion, that quarterback wasn't as respected as he maybe should have been, and I still feel Geno Smith is disrespected.
yep,
Okay, chat,
indeed.
we see you. So let's address chat as a bit of our preamble. OG3. I can always appreciate a Green Bay quarterback looking bad. Absolutely. I mean, Green Bay long-suffering franchise at that position. Like, let's be honest, they deserve this, don't they? They really do.
Yeah,
Jen, he's getting ready for the Ryder Cup. Jen, I feel like Canada should support Europe in that. Like, are there any
uh,
Canadian golfers?
now see, I didn't even know the Ryder Cup was golf till just now.
Wow. Bro, do you even gymnance? What is
The
this?
the only thing that exists to me is football, the NBA,
No, come on, Griff.
and occasionally the Mariners.
You have to watch golf.
I don't watch golf.
Jen, I love this. I love this, Jen. That's so good. Um, Chat, any questions? It's good to see you all in here. No? Okay, Griff,
Yeah.
do you have a preamble topic?
Um, Shoot, what's your favorite vegetable?
My favorite vegetable?
Yeah.
Damn. I'd see I'm kind of scared to make a stance. Like I was gonna say something which was so wild, and then I was like, no, that's too crazy. I mean, is a potato a vegetable? No, it's not. It's
Um,
not. It's not. Lentils. Are lentils a vegetable? They're a pulse, aren't they?
no, those are legumes.
Lentils are. Well, what's the French for vegetable, buddy?
All right, no, they're beans. They're beans.
Okay. I was gonna say broccoli,
Broccoli's a fine choice. I was
and you
either
know
gonna,
what? Broccoli, you put that in the oven and roast it,
yes.
and it's texturally nice. And also, this sounds crazy, it sounds freaky deaky, but having broccoli raw actually does hit in like a if you're like eating barbecue or something. Obviously, in Britain, we make very good barbecue, much superior to any American muck. Um, but like rich, like meaty food, having some broccoli with like a nice acidic dressing, or maybe you got a bit of acid and a bit of sweet in the dressing.
Sure.
That does go very nicely as a counterbalance.
Agreed. Agreed. Cooked broccoli is insane.
Yeah,
I'm all
very
about
nice. Yeah,
cooked broccoli,
the
steamed broccoli. But yeah, I'll take it raw too. Get a nice dip there in there. Yeah, I like Brussels sprouts. S-
spinach.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So, what's your favorite leafy green, Maddie?
Oh, rocket, or as you guys would say, arugula.
I like arugula, like a little Swiss chard.
Oh wow,
Um,
we're talking salads now. Like we're talking that needs a bit of balsamic and parmesan on top.
yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, dude. I'll eat leafy greens all day, even if you let me.
Vegetables actually, I'll let you. Yeah, vegetables are really good.
Yeah, I'm big on vegetables, especially cooked in bacon fat
Right. That
and salted.
Right, and like loads of butter as well. Like
Yeah.
if you're talking spinach, we're gonna need a lot of
Mm.
butter.
Well, okay, here's the thing. All right, I'll roll it back. I don't like saute. I don't like wilted cooked spinach. I like raw
Oh,
spinach.
what? No,
I
that's
I a-
weird.
I absolutely loathe. I loathe cooked spinach and cooked like wilted like collard greens. Can't do it. The texture's so bad. But I like it raw in a salad. Yeah, toss it with some nice dressing. Get some onions, some blue cheese crumbles in there,
This is a real
gorgonzola, feta.
divisive. I'm not sure if we can continue the podcast now.
No, we'll get through it. We need to have some turbulence in our podcasting relationship.
Right, it'd be
It'll
boring
help
if we
hard.
agreed all the time, but
Yeah.
spinach, buddy, that's very
Wait,
wrong.
wait. You don't like raw spinach? What do you
Well,
put in a
no, I
salad?
don't dislike it, but it's kind of trash, and it leaves a,
The
you know, the
texture.
effect it has on your teeth, like the whatever goes on there, but it kind of does something.
I mean, doesn't that go for all leafy greens?
No, spinach has a very specific. Next time you
Yeah.
have raw spinach, observe the kind of mouth feel or the coating it has on your teeth.
No. You're right. You're right. It is kind of weird, isn't it?
It's bad. It's just
That's
bad.
but
It's
you
okay.
combine it with enough of other things, and it's
Right,
mitigated.
right. So it's bad. You're having to disguise it.
Oh, okay. Robert, I'll try that. Grate some nutmeg on your wilted spinach.
That is a game changer.
See, I don't think it's a flavor issue for me. It's a texture thing. I just don't like for the same reasons I don't like raisins and craisins and dried apricot and all that stuff. The flavor is fine. The texture throws me off. I don't like dried fruit.
Well, you don't like your mushy green, mushy.
Yeah, like it's not meant to be
Well,
mushy.
the thing with texture is variety is the spice of life. So with the mushy, you need some crunchy and some firm meaty and some. You're not one of those people who just eats individual things. You do mix up your thoughtful.
I don't have my deconstructed salads. No, I don't unbucket my salads. I only unbucket the passing game. Hit it, Matty.
Hit what?
The intro. That was a perfect segue.
What's a segue?
Segue is when you U-turn from bad defense into good defense. Hit it.
Brother.
Oh, that was the second pass. We still messed up.
Okay, let's try it. Third time lucky.
A U-turn. No. You know what the spice of life is for me?
No, I don't.
Linebackers getting depth in their hooks. Hit it, Matty.
Welcome to the Seattle Overload podcast, where Griff and I are doing the tape review of the Seahawks' Week 3 victory over the Carolina Panthers at home. Before that, though, and we will give our brief overview before dealing with our two key topics of the week, we have the injury report. Obviously, Seattle plays Week 4 on Monday night against the New York Giants at MetLife Stadium in New Jersey. But so we're dealing with Thursday's injury report, which is absolutely listed with Seahawks names. Let's just run through it very quickly. So did not participate in Thursday practice. Left tackle Charles Cross with his toe injury. Wide receiver DK Metcalf with ribs. Phil Haynes, the left guard, with a calf injury. Trey Brown, the right cornerback, with a concussion. Kobe Bryant, the strong safety, with a toe injury. Draymond Jones, the interior defensive lineman, with a hip injury. Quandre Diggs, the free safety, with a hamstring injury. Jaron Reed, the nose tackle, with a quadricep injury. Uchenna Nwosu, the outside linebacker, with an Achilles injury. That's worrying. And outside linebacker Darryl Taylor with a shin injury. And then 3 limited participants in practice. Tight end Will Dissly with a shoulder injury. Safety Julian Love with a hamstring injury. And Artie Burns, the nickel corner, with a hamstring injury. Griff, all of that sounds awful. I know a lot of these guys are going to, play anyway, play through it as they did last week too. They're looking forward to that Week 5 bye. Anything there stand out to you in particular?
No. They'll get healthy. They'll get patched up. No, I don't really have any thoughts, Matty. But
Brilliant. Thanks, Griff.
yeah, back to you in the studio.
Well, obviously, I have so many thoughts. I have double the amount of thoughts because you have no thoughts in particular. Uh,
Yep, there's
the
nothing
main
going
thing
on
is
up here.
obviously Jamal Adams is returning to the roster, and the way that Pete Carroll was talking about the secondary, it sounds like he expects his first choice guys to go, being Reek Willen on the right side, Jamal Adams as the strong safety or nickel. We'll see how that shakes out.
Hmm.
Julian Love and Quandre Diggs, and then obviously Devin Witherspoon on the left. So it would be a real disappointment if we didn't get to see that. Obviously, the health of these guys comes first, but it'd be a real
Right.
disappointment if we didn't get to see that. Now, outside linebacker, sneaky concern now, or slash pass rush in general, with the fact that Draymond Jones on the interior is out. Then you've got Nwosu with that Achilles, and Darryl Taylor showing up with a shin injury, and Jaron Reed with a quadriceps. That we've already expressed concern about the interior of the defensive line and the depth there. Behind Reed as a pure nose, you've got Cam Young, who's a rookie, and for how good he's looked for a rookie, he's still a fifth round pick for a reason, and still getting used to it and doesn't bring the dynamism that Reed does from that spot, and what we'll see on the tape today. And then outside back, we felt really good about the depth heading into the season, but if you're down two, you're still down two, and
Right.
suddenly that depth looks a lot less shaky, and they're technically your best two pass rushers. Maffei and Derek Cooler, the kind of B options when it comes to pure pass rush. So,
Right.
I mean, fingers crossed things improve.
Right. Yeah. Yep. For sure. You don't want to go into this game too underhanded, or too undermanned rather. Um, I am looking forward to Tariq Woolen getting back in there. I really hope he doesn't need like a ramp up period. Um, Same with Jamal, although he's probably going to be a sub package player for this game, or not even sub package. They'll just play him, like give him X amount of snaps in each package and just have a general pitch count, because they probably want him to see all the situations that he's going to have to see as his snap count increases. Yeah, it's I mean, my mind fixates on really, I mean, the edge depth will be a concern. But I really just want to see how Tariq Woolen's doing, because week one he did not seem athletically the same, because he was getting back from his knee operation, right? And he didn't
Yeah,
get
he
any
looked
conditioning in.
rusty.
So yeah, that'll be my main focus, so that we can finally get this corner duo, which on paper looks amazing, right? Between Devin Witherspoon and Tariq Woolen. I really want that to come to fruition quickly, you know?
Yeah. On fruition, I always used to read that as fruition.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, because vegetable-ition just doesn't roll off the tongue, does
No.
it?
Those of you who are listening won't know what we discussed in the preamble, but the preamble does feature on my YouTube channel. Is massively popular with every single one of our viewers. Okay, let's get to the tape. Obviously, we're talking about
Excuse me.
week 4, but we have exciting tape from week 3. And Griff, it's time to reveal to the listeners what our 2 topics are to keep us focused and from rambling massively. But after I've revealed our 2 topics, then we can just give our general overview of each side of the football. So,
All right.
the 2 topics, Griff, are why did the offense stall in the first half when they got in the red zone, and then in the second half, or more specifically, like the last kind of quarter of the game, suddenly just start putting up a ton of points and converting all their red zone shots. And then the second topic is kind of a pass rush look, how Clint Hurt is using pass rush fronts, different alignments up front to get guys in good spots, to get them favorable matchups, and it's working. And they got some sacks on Andy Dalton and forced him to extend plays, which he proved pretty good at, but it was kind of good from a pass rush perspective. But before that, Griff, as we start with the offense, overall impressions of this offense before we look at the red zone stuff.
The main thing that lingers for me is that even when this offense is not at its best, it's still functioning really high. The floor is high, and that's also with injuries at tackle. They're experiencing on the O-line right now what they experienced the last third of last year, And then there were other things, combined with Marquise Goodwin going out, Lockett not being 100%. You lost Will Disley, right? Things added up. But obviously the offensive output also crashed during that period, right? So they're experiencing like what might be responsible for like or 2/3 responsible for that regression last year. They're experiencing right now to start the year, and they're like the 5th ranked offense, and that's even with the first week, the Rams performance factoring in. And that's kind of more to the point. Like the Rams game, the underlying efficiency wasn't that bad in the Rams game. They just didn't score very much. And that's the problem when you're not explosive and you can't convert in the red zone, right? But the point is like they still can move the ball. Like in years past, when the offense has its bad moments, which they could have a high scoring game, right? And have like half their drives just do absolutely nothing, go 3 and out because of the nature of the offense.
Boom or bust.
Right. The nature of the offense now is obviously it has the potential to boom, but even when it's not booming, you're still matriculating, right? So it's just like the first half, we did not have a good taste in our mouth from the first half. Red zone, people can kind of call like it's a high variance kind of environment, which in the second half, sure enough, they go and score a bunch, right? But they had like a 54% success rate in the first half, even when they weren't scoring very much. So it just kind of goes to show that like they get there, they get into the red zone. So that's really encouraging. I also thought, Gino, he had his mistakes, but he on tape, was masterful in the pocket in the first half. I thought, he mitigated so much damage. He's why they still had a huge success rate. I thought
Yeah,
Waldron,
because
yeah,
what you're basically saying there is the way he was able to avoid those negative plays, which other quarterbacks, they would have taken sacks, they would have made mistakes where he's working within the protection he has, the pocket he has, and getting out of like, potentially disastrous stuff, and hence the success rate, right?
right, exactly. And then Gino Alex, especially out on the boot, his ability to create on the move, like it's not even like off the wall stuff. It's all very controlled and focused, but it's still really impressive. Like that first one to Fant's covered up, and then he with his eyes he looks back to the second level, and there's no one even there, and that makes the
Yeah.
flat defender kind of chill out a little bit, and then he speeds up his boot speed, so to speak, and then he hits Fant and just manufactures 8 free yards right there. Then obviously he throws it back across the grain to DK when on the broadcast. So I was like, oh no, is this going to be a terrible low light play? And sure enough, DK is wide open, at least at the time of the throw. But it was really, a well placed throw across his body, which is hard to do when you're running too. Then he had another one like that. So I don't know. He's mesmerizing right now, honestly. That's even with the mistakes.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of repeating what you've said in a different way. They just have so many. There's a lot of variety of ways to move the football. Not like with personnel, like the right now it's the multiple tight end looks and how they're getting success off that. But even if you look at the the different makeups of the tight ends that they have, Fant, Parkinson, and Disley, when if he's able to come back healthy. But then receiver wise, it's really intriguing how you got Metcalf. We know what he is, but Bobo is a very interesting element to this offense. Like looking back at this, he's open on a lot more plays than he's on the backside of the stuff or he's not the primary target, but he's getting open in interesting ways and crucially different ways to how Jackson Smith and Jigba would get open, and a different body type to what Jackson Smith and Jigba would get open like. And obviously you still got Tyler Lockett, and I thought JSN, like there's a lot of concern around his game, but his time will come. Like there's plays here where the ball could have got to him, but there's a mitigating factor, the limiting factor, which meant it didn't. Or he's a decoy or whatever. So not only with the personnel, but also the concepts that Waldron has. That they start moving the ball via play action and big deep shots. Then they're able to sprinkle in drop back game. Basically, any way that's and then the run game really kind of takes over in that second half, in particular, and then the stuff off of that again. There's a number of different ways they're able to move the football. Even in the run game, and we'll get into this when we look at the red zone stuff. The fact that it was more gap concepts that were popping, not zone. So
Right.
very exciting stuff. So the red zone plays are, in some ways you won't see as much of the play action deep shots to move the ball down the field. But other than that, they're a pretty good highlighter, a good kind of microcosm of what we've just spoke about. There's a lot of that stuff on the show.
Right.
So let me just share my screen. Should we include the first drive where they're on the 30, Griff? Or should we skip through this? Is this the red zone? Now, for those of you who are less familiar, defensively, offensively, this would be, a lot of teams consider this the high red zone, even though it's outside the 20. Or should we just skip through this bit, Griff?
We can. We might as well look at it. It's not a big deal.
Okay, 1 second. So what's that? Second and... Okay, let's go to here. So this was a bit of an odd drive. So the game is they're down 3-0. Nice duo play. I feel they could have probably got a few more yards out of this. There's your boy Brady Russell as the third tight end, getting a rep in 13 personnel.
So do a run. Wait, what's the down and distance here? Is this the 2nd and 4 or the first?
Second and 4, yeah.
Okay.
This 2-eye is annoying for Bradford and Evan Brown.
Yeah, it's a weird angle.
That's a pretty baller play.
Yeah.
But the way they're trying to chip this.
And then that is Derek Brown, right?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
That explains a lot.
Because if Bradford's able to keep Derek Brown to the inside and Evan Brown makes that job slightly harder, then this hits up here.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway. Because this linebacker's trying to wait for it.
Yeah. I remember thinking I really wanted that to convert right there. But I don't mind running on the 2nd and 4. Run all day on a 2nd and 4. I don't care.
And this was weird in the game, right? Because was this where the credit card was needed when they brought out the sticks and they gave them the conversion?
No, that was the next play. Wasn't it on the fourth down?
How do you feel about back-to-back wild card when the first one wild card? I can't even talk.
Wildcat.
Let me get my stuff together. I don't know what. Yeah, back-to-back Wildcat. How do you feel about that?
I don't know. They just must really like that package. Like they must have been working on it.
Yeah, and they clearly were expecting sneak when this misdirection wasn't the best, because then they will crowd up thinking it's quarterback sneak, which with the play they've got called in, which is basically like wedge, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not. There's no spacing for it.
Yeah. But then he gets it here. Not a good block from Forsyth. So it's zone strong, right? Outside zone. But all you need is
a yard,
not even. So it gets the job done. If Forsyth could turn him out of the gap a little bit more. But they still get it.
Yeah, that's a tough moment for how they work this combo here. Does Evan Brown slip? Oh no, he gets submarined by this one tech. That's an interesting way of playing up front with this zero tech and this guy hiding.
Yeah.
They're still pinched down.
Right.
I guess they're thinking sneak again.
That is interesting. Because the center can't do anything.
No.
And
so I'm surprised he tried to, I guess. Like you'd think he'd just in the short yardage stay on the zero tech and have Lewis handle here, but they're trying to block the zone and climb still, even though it's short
Yeah,
yardage.
right.
Anyway, they just about got it.
So they get this one.
So 1st and 10. This is where from the 29. And this is what we saw last week, where it's like 989, right, or a
Yeah,
variant of that. But they're essentially the
it's
players
Y
read out that
cross,
if the
really.
shot to DK is there, then they take that shot, right?
Yeah, and this is Gino because if you look at his release point, like the corner is high and on top, so and it's to the boundaries. So there's not a lot of space, right?
Yeah. His
The- the-
main thing is he thinks he can beat that safety. Like he's just given DK even with this position the shot.
yeah, it's just Gino trust in DK, and like the ball isn't necessarily off target. I think it just hung in the air too long. But I don't know. Maybe DK needs to create more space for himself
Yeah.
late. I think the corner is smart to not contact him until later, so that he can't be
Yeah,
separated
because
from late.
that's like borderline PI. I mean, they're both trying to box out because of the tight room. Like as a DB, it's very tough.
Yeah.
And,
Now
and I
what's
think letting them play here is okay.
yeah, agreed. What's frustrating about this though is that like DK is not missing an open Colby here because the first route is being targeted.
You mean
But
Gino's not missing?
yeah. Sorry,
Yeah.
Gino's not missing Colby even though Colby's open. But I do wonder. This is now 2 or 3 times the cross and the Y cross or the 989 has come open, and I wonder
And
if
look at the
they
dig as well.
right. So I wonder if they emphasize like only throw the go ball, the front side go ball, if it's super targetable. Otherwise, they're getting the looks they want on the backside. And like
Yeah,
and DK threw that big dig route to DK
Gino.
Gino. God, Gino threw the big dig route to
Mm-hmm.
DK against the Lions, right? So maybe that's why they changed from 989 to white cross. I don't know.
Well, and this
Also
is the
it's
cool thing to me
short
though.
field.
Like the offense right now, it feels and they shouldn't. It shouldn't feel like the opposite, but it very much feels like they have a lot more left in the tank. Not just from like JSN being relatively untapped. Bobo potentially having a few more ops. Maybe just 3 wide receiver personnel groupings having a bit more legs to them.
Yeah.
But also like the concepts like this where they're trying to hit the go ball. This stuff, if you're not going to hit it, then it's still going to get open down the line. Like this is still
Right.
going to be there. And why this concept's cool is they're creating 3 guys out here. They sell it with a guard pull, which pulls this backer up as well to create the room in this window. But they're creating trips out here, so this safety immediately starts looking over here, which creates this one-on-one on the backside.
That's a really good point. I didn't
So a lot
think
of
about
window
that.
dressing to create this. But yeah, down the line we start seeing this over the middle stuff get hit.
Yeah. All right. You
So
convinced
2nd
me.
and 10, which is a bit of a theme to how they stalled in the first half in the red zone or the high red zone.
So I wonder if this is a check. Boy, it's an RPO.
So starting with the tight end in the backfield, this is to set up boot stuff as well. They boot off this action later in the game. So
Out of gun.
yeah,
Okay.
Tyler had a drop out of it.
Oh, right.
I mean,
How much do they pick up here?
you're trying to get into 3rd and manageable, 3rd and 5. Gino's definitely saying we've got it's
trying
2
to
high
see-
safeties. In theory, it's a light box with
With
1,
weak
2,
rotate.
3, 4, 5, 6 for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and him maybe being in the conflict, but also
So the weak safety
extra
is
gap,
the
right?
7th fitter. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Trying to see where does Evan end up blocking?
Well, it's this 2-eye, isn't it? The problem is Derek Brown playing in a 2-eye and then them moving the front. And that's what Evero's good at, is getting, presenting what looks favourable and then moving the front into something which is a different picture for the blocking scheme, trying to get some numbers back. But this is like a good run. It's just the fact it brings up.
Yeah.
What does it bring up? 3rd and 5, I think.
That is a good block from Evan.
Yeah. Okay, so now 3rd and 7. Well, that sounds like a tough spot to me. I think that's 3rd and... Where's it saying the ball's at? Oh, maybe it is 3rd and 7. Okay, so drop back.
So gun 3 drop.
Oof.
So you've got Lockett running.
Like a hit? Is it like quick game wide, like the quick game wide cross, but then I don't understand really what this is.
Yeah, I didn't know what Jackson was supposed to be doing. Is Jackson supposed to be... Does he just get walled off and just shut it down? It's like is he supposed to be running across?
Well, I think he knows that Bobo's coming as well, so he just decides to take this upfield to try and create room.
Interesting.
With how the defender technique plays him.
Yeah.
But this is tough for Gino. It's interesting though, he opens to Jackson. I guess he reads this as man. So that's just a weird play.
Yeah, Lockett's route is not great here.
And then Kerhan doesn't get beat, but he kind of does get beat, but he gets beat in a way that Gino's able to work with, but it also moves him off his spot, right?
Right.
And that's Kerhan's weakness, is that kind of,
right.
speed rush off the back edge of the arc.
That's where he's going to lose, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, he gets him to 9-10 yards, and Gino can work with that, like you said.
Yeah. And Bobo was coming open with JSN doing this. They're just a weird kind of route for Lockett to get given there. And he should catch the ball on the improvisation. It hit him in the head, I think.
Yeah, he just needs to use his hands.
And they're letting the DB play here as well. Like, this is a kind of a hold.
Mm-hmm.
They're letting them both play, but definite kind of hook.
So that's how you end up stalling, basically.
Yep. Weird play.
Now, last year they were this is going to sound weird, as bad as their gun run game was, they were a good 2nd and 10 running team. Like, they were like 7th in the league.
Mm-hmm.
So they got a lot of yards because in that front was a front that was easy to run on. So like last year they blocked that and Walker hit it. It's just 2nd and 10s are rare, right? So 2nd and 10 runs aren't that frequent. So the fact that they RPO it is good, because that means if they are showing something that is run heavy, you have an in scheme or in play option to then, get out of, right? That's what they call the RPO, run pass option. So,
yeah.
All right. So then
this plays out like a designed flush game, doesn't it? Up front, it's almost odd mirror 7, like, even though it's not an odd front. Like, they're playing, it's like 2-man on the back end, and then 3 rushing, this guy dropping out to spy and then go get him.
Yeah.
Anyway, so next drive, next red zone stalling. Okay, here we go. This is a good first run, but they throw a flag. Charbonnet as well he absolutely smacks people. He
found his foot speed this game. Like, I don't know what it was,
In
but he
cuts, like stringing cuts together.
explosion. Yeah, he just
Yeah,
found everything. I wonder if just his brain caught up, and it makes him look faster. Because like he just needs
definitely
to.
seemed a bit quicker. I mean, there's still work I think to do, but definitely seemed quicker. So I believe they've thrown the flag on Forsyth, which felt slightly
Yeah,
harsh.
that's happening so quick.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I wouldn't. He's falling over no matter what Forsyth does right there.
Yep.
Whatever.
Or was it on Curhan? I can't remember.
It better not be on Curhan. Oh gosh. See, how do they? Just because his hand could be flat on the chest, it doesn't mean he's grabbing anything. That's such a lame call.
It's the jerk, yeah.
There's no way. There's no way the end is getting back to Charbonnet right there.
But anyway, penalties don't help drive. So 1st and 20 now on what would have been a good run.
Yeah.
Now this is unfortunate.
Should have thrown the corner, right?
Yeah, and I think he thought about it, but if you see the moment he thinks about it, he clutches because of this kind of pressure.
Yeah.
But still a good play in the end. But this cornerback's throttles down. This corner is open against. It's like cover 4, isn't it?
Yeah. So it's a high low on the corner. I mean, he could have hit Tyler too, just to get a chunk gain.
Yeah, and
But
he did hit him in the end. So
yeah. Yeah, I mean, so what he does in the pocket, like he double clutches, but he doesn't freak out in the pocket, right?
no,
It's and you wonder like how much of Gino's first half tentativeness when he was tentative was because of not knowing what to trust from his own line.
I
Like, was he
think
a
that's
little,
so much. That's what I was going to say. I think he really had to feel out what he was working with, and kind of test what was possible, within
especially
that
against
structure.
that front. Yeah.
Like, in the second half, as we'll see, well, maybe we won't because it was an open field as well, but it just seemed a bit more understanding of what timing was there, what he could expect.
Yeah. And sure enough, he ends up throwing 2 corner routes later on, right? One to Colby, one to DK.
But this is flashing right inside Derek Brown again. Oh no, that isn't. I don't think that is Derek Brown. 95, but a flash of color to the inside just as he thinks about it, and I think to step into that and not leave it short, because at this point here, he doesn't really know about that corner being able to bail back.
Yeah.
The weight transfer's beginning now, and it's not quite clear enough to throw the timing of it.
Now he probably saw that on the iPad or the tablet, whatever, on the
Yeah, it was
sideline.
like that. Shoot, I could have probably done that.
Because he does later.
Right.
They get Colby on a banana later, and Colby drops it. But
yeah. So, and Lee says that the corner probably came back up after he saw Gino's eyes move. I mean, yeah, maybe Lee.
yeah, could be.
Yeah.
So another 2nd and 10.
Yep.
So we get that sidecar thing.
And it's yeah, that's tough. Forsyth is a bit overconfident, oversetting this. He thinks that this guy's thinking it's deep drop back. That's too wide a set for this kind of concept. And I guess he's thinking that the end's gonna honor this toss.
Yeah, that is crazy reaction time too. Is that Burns?
Yeah, he just gets an overset. I'm taking the inside move. F this.
Yeah.
And now, if they could have got this screen off, that's a tough task on Anthony Bradford. Interesting kind of pin pull scheme out here. I mean, he probably makes that block.
Yeah.
I don't know.
See,
that guy's beating him outside. It's probably cutting up here, right?
Yeah, and then is that going anywhere? I don't know.
Interesting from Fan.
Oh, very interesting. Now did they steal that play from Shanahan? Is that what Shanahan did to
the double screen up the pipe?
Yeah. Is that what
it
this
looks
is?
like it, doesn't it?
Oh shit.
Well,
So they were
which would
trying to,
explain kind of the overset as well.
yeah, they were trying to steal a touchdown right here.
Which Waldron in the red zone in general, I think I said this before we came on air. It feels like he was trying to call the touchdown play every time rather than like, hey, we could get a 5 yard pass here or a 7 yard
Yeah,
pass.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
that
and
does look like a
you
double
know what?
screen.
To your point, they end up running the ball well in the red zone later, right? Like within the
They
low
do,
red.
like I think they learn.
So
So
yeah, so take your chunk gains in the passing
spoilers
game.
though, Griff.
Yeah, yeah. But the theme is they might say, let's just take our chunk gains and then run it once we get close enough.
Right. So 3rd and 21, that's tough. Let's throw a screen, help out Jason Myers, who context was struggling before this game. And, nice screenplay. JSN, good work, good blocks, great work from Forsyth getting out in space. He's very athletic.
Forsyth is an
Hell of a
athlete.
block from Evan Brown. Oh, my word.
Yeah, dude, Evan is good. Like they have a good
Real
center
good.
right now.
He looks like a guard at center in like a really good way. You know what I mean?
Yep, yep, yep.
AKA a better player.
Right. Yeah. So
So that's tough. Now, wow. Big play to Walker. This is, I think, the disappointing drive from Waldron's perspective. So that's a tough run.
I mean, they were
Weak mid zone, basically, right?
right into a bear front, like not able to check out of this. I mean, the cutback.
That's tough.
I mean, are they thinking they're going to hit the backside? Like if the weaks or the strong side end rather, the strong side 3 technique, if he doesn't work back like he does, which is a really savvy play, and I don't think he's supposed to do that.
Yeah,
If he
it
doesn't
might.
work back, are they thinking they cut into the C gap?
Yeah, I mean they're running mid zone to, but the way that this seals out, I mean it's a great block from Brown. Ultimately, the 4 eyes kill the play, right? Because this guy lining wider is able to get a bit more of a run up into Bradford and knock him, get under his pads, better pad level, stand him up, and fight outside, which is setting basically a new edge to the defense. And then this 4 eye here just takes his shot on the back door. I don't think it's a called movement. I think it's just guys playing fast.
So yeah. So I wonder
There's just
if
no
he's
space for that.
I wonder if the nose is actually getting reached or if he's playing a lag technique where he's supposed to play the backside A. And in
Yeah,
which case,
I think Brown just plays what he can, you know.
right. And in which case, I wonder if they saw that in Bear Evero has the nose lag and they thought they can hit the front side A gap.
Maybe, yeah.
And if not, hit the backside C. But
Yeah, and
yeah.
I mean they run it because it got too high, and they think
Yeah.
we've got the box count. Like he has this, he has the A or the C. Who has the other gap? Is it this guy or is it this guy? We should be able to run this for yards, but they just beat their blocks up front, and essentially this A gap, which is the extra gap that they decide to play with, there is no gap. Like they get shrunk down. Along with what we spoke about of this guy removing the cutback with his play. So that's a tough run.
Mm-hmm.
So not the best start to the drive, but 2nd and 9, you should still be able to achieve some stuff. So this one I remember thinking live, Gino had really good protection, and it's again kind of needing to feel it out and trust it. Like this ball came out early, and it is a design double. The corner did break down, and the moment he decides to let it go, it looks like there's a shot, but the corner hadn't broke down as much as I think as it looked like. Like he's actually able to work back really quite easily to this. Good weight distribution from him.
See, I don't know if this was an inaccurate ball as much as they're both working with different landmarks, the receiver and quarterback.
Right, like you think if you put it here,
like Gino throws it on a line,
towards
right?
the corner, isn't it?
Because Tyler expands. He's thinking he's going to get the ball more toward the corner.
Yeah.
But Gino, it seems deliberate that he throws this on a line. Like he thinks Tyler's going to be more like tight off of the corner's hip, right? And get more vertical straight.
Yep.
I don't know.
And how do you feel about calling a shot on 2nd and 9 here?
I think you know what? Yeah, right. Like in hindsight, it doesn't
Like,
feel
where's
right.
the? I mean,
Does
I guess they did get the look they thought they were getting. He just recovered.
yeah, and it's quarters, so it's 1-on-1. You got Tyler Lockett, right? So does Waldron just think I've got hoopers
Yeah.
and like I just want to take advantage of that?
And he's able to get his pump in, and yeah. By the way, now this corner's playing zone, so Boba's not going to be this open if Gino's looking over here, but Boba kind of does something. He gets the corner to break down.
You know, Bobo's feet are actually sick, and I
Yeah,
hope.
he's I want his 3-cone time when it's not wet and he doesn't fall over and stuff. Like,
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if he has like a 7-flat 3-cone
there
at
you
that
go.
body type. That would be. He plays like it. I mean, I would run him on more routes.
And credit to the pass pro here, you have to say. Like,
Yep,
great handling of this. This is like stuff which we saw Seattle's pass rush doing, running into each other, basically
that's great from
getting bullied
Bradford.
up front.
Because think about the disadvantage that is Bradford, right? Think about the disadvantage he's at because they're sliding to 99,
Yeah,
and
look
which
and really smart from Bradford pushing this guy towards where the extra dude is,
yeah,
like into
and
the traffic.
yep, and then
He
look at
knows
his
what kind of concept this is. The ball needs to be out.
yeah, look at his right arm. He tucks his elbow to get as much lift as he can.
Good recovery, athleticism, right?
Yep, yeah, Bradford because so Bradford like Bradford is I mean he's a real talent. He's got a tackle background. Like his okay, so on the counter, his left foot, he drops his foot and then slides laterally with it. So after he drops, well,
Yep.
he actually doesn't quite drop laterally, but still, it's good.
Able
Because
to ride with it.
because so he's setting to a 2-eye on that play. Who's and they're sliding away from him, right?
Yep.
So the 2-eye has an advantage, the
The
inside leverage.
resetting of the hands with the feet is very nice.
Yeah, he's strong too. Like he just rides him into Evan. So
So 3rd and 9. And Monjombo points out in the chat, you recall Bradford was losing blocks in the preseason. This is huge improvement, isn't it? I mean, yeah. And the thing with preseason is obviously, as you're all aware, but this is the first exposure to NFL ball live reps. Like, it can just, for all of these guys, it will take time. But that first Bradford game was rough because it's his first game. Like, and he has to unlearn some things. This game is remarkably quick improvement. I agree. Okay, so 3rd and 9. Let's see what we get here. Oh yeah, I mean I don't even think this is a first down.
no, I mean the idea is maybe he can shrug the DB up off, and then he just gets upfield, but there's no way he's converting. So this is what I worry about with Gino when he's really pressured.
The kind of throwing the out into the blitz where they kind of are anticipating that throw.
Yeah, like the ball's a little behind him, right?
Yeah, and on the
It,
broadcast they criticized JSN for not running this further out to the sideline, but he has to wait for the ball.
he's waiting
Like,
for the ball.
if he keeps running, then the corner might pick it because he wouldn't have
It's
been there,
and look at Gino's footwork. Like
or the safety, I should say.
he can't step and throw, right? So he's throwing, he opens his hips up, and there's no torque when you're doing that.
Yeah.
So and
And
he
this
just
kind
doesn't
of
have the natural.
nickel cover 4 style blitz is something that so many teams do. The 49ers do this
See,
a lot.
also DJ needs to go get the backer, I think, a little bit more.
Yeah, he's very tentative, isn't he? I don't know.
And he's Dallas has been good in protection. I don't know why he's kind of. I think he's afraid of getting like olayed a
In the
little bit.
way,
Oh, maybe
in the
that
way of
too.
Gino.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but like Gino doesn't have the arm to push a ball to drive a ball off platform, and he's not on platform here. So
Yeah.
so he either needs to anticipate it more, like put the ball out further ahead intentionally so Jackson can run into it. I don't know. I don't know.
And pre-snap, I think I wonder what he recognized here.
I think is he just changing the protection to full slide?
Yeah.
Well, five man slide anyway.
That's a full slide, yeah.
Well, I was just wondering with Noah
Oh, right, okay. Yeah.
blocking the.
So that's how that stalled. But ultimately, 3rd and 9 is difficult, especially in that kind of red zone area where
Right. But
you
so
don't have.
if we isolate a problem, it's the second down performance, right?
Yeah,
And some of
yeah,
it feels fluky, like there isn't a theme that links each failed second down, right? The only
no.
thing you remedy that is, like you said, like just get into your intermediate drop back game on second down and just take the chunk gain.
Hmm. Okay, I think this is the series of plays that I really didn't like from Waldron, and it's like why like you're really desperate for the touchdown here. Now, one factor is there's 1:08 left in the second quarter. Seattle only has 2 timeouts, so that does apply, but not really. They're down by 4 points, 13-9. Still haven't scored that touchdown. So I think this is a fine concept to call. Sees this safety kind of staying after looking at DK. He's got Colby down the pipe. That safety's always going to creep. So then can we get JSN on the verts? Not really. So then this guy's crowding. So Lockett's one-on-one. Let's try the one-on-one. I mean, fine. No room for it, though. And maybe you'd want to see this check down to the back. I mean, in that time, you're getting minimal yardage anyway. So essentially, the defense plays a good coverage of 4 verts, don't they? And their defenders execute well.
Maybe you put that on Colby's back hip.
You don't know about what, sorry?
I said maybe you put that on Colby's back hip.
Yeah, you could try if you're feeling very ballsy.
Like right at the 5, catch it at the 5, and then just fall
like here.
pass backwards into the end zone.
Yeah, like here. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe get
But
folded
he's already
in half,
moved on by that point, I guess.
Yeah.
So, 2nd and 10. Now, okay, so yeah, this is the sequence.
So what is it? Stick dig?
Yeah, but JSN kind of gets bullied on his route. It's also illegal contact, technically. It's after 5 yards, right?
I don't know. I don't know how they would
And I just don't know
that.
what the actual concept is here, because I don't know why he wouldn't break this over this into this middle window.
Well, maybe it's a rookie not really actually knowing exactly what he should do, which I know it sounds weird because Jackson is so precise with his routes and he understands football. But maybe just the way things are being communicated to him. Now it could be stick fade. It may not be stick dig. It could be
So
stick
then,
fade,
like,
right?
what is that? I don't understand what's going on here with Bobo, and then this, like, in the same area.
Well, I mean, inverted stick looks like that.
Yeah, it does, but then
Maybe
bend
just
it into the space. Why run down the pipe to this guy?
to a quarter safety, right? Yeah, no, I agree.
Like, especially when they're pushing over to the 3, like. Anyway.
Yeah, maybe.
Just seems just sketchy execution, but ultimately reroutes kill plays. And when you have this timing thing, Gino thinks about throwing this, but that looks hairy because you don't know if this guy's going to come off and pick this off.
Honestly, what it could be is they might be trying to manipulate the smash rule with the corner and the curl, or the corner and the quarter flat defender.
Yeah, because he comes up, but then, or is this a design pump? No.
I mean, I think they might think the corner would give the nickel the smash call, and he wouldn't be contacting Jackson, and Jackson could just kind of fade up the sideline.
Yeah, but then
or
he
not
doesn't.
Not the sideline, fade up the numbers.
Right.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Right, mate. Or Bobo can get out the back door, mate. It just like I don't
It
understand.
almost
Second and 10, like really?
it makes sense to run like a legit wrap here,
Yeah,
where
like let's run an actual passing concept.
yeah, like let Jackson break like an 8-yard dig here right over the mic,
Right.
because the mic's thinking stick all the way. Just high low the mic, have Jackson run a dig route,
Bang,
hit
bang,
it
bang,
hit
bang,
it right in
bang.
between the hashes.
Yeah. Or not even a dig, like a bloody slant, not a slant,
Yeah,
like a 7 and in sort of. It doesn't have to be 10 yards and in. Like it's
yeah,
behind this
yeah,
dude, right? Anyway,
yeah.
now that play I just thought was slightly weird. Now the next play is why I have a problem because they do like a really similar thing. Like I don't understand. They do what they should have done basically. I just what we. And again, 3rd and 10 in the red zone isn't the best idea. It's not the best scenario, but I don't get why are they trying to access this here? Why have Colby run this route?
Well, I mean, what is this? This is like a stick return, or
It's
it's
like the opposite of what we've just seen, basically. Well, not the opposite, but similar. Just the similar nature of this and the fact that it's playing more into the hands of that coverage.
yeah.
Like, where are you supposed to go with the ball here? And then
I
I'm
mean,
surprised that it didn't go to read it out here and then ping it backside to DK with this safety pushing over.
right. I mean,
Now, what may have played into it there is the protection of Kerhan. He gets an inside move after a bit of an overset.
yeah. Wait,
Kind of moves Gino off the spot. He has to back up.
where do Gino's eyes go?
Okay.
Right there.
Reads out front side. Checks the safety rotation. Reads out this. And then he never looks at the backside.
Yeah.
So it's just an odd deal. Like I don't know what they were hoping to achieve with this when
think
it's 4/3.
Part of this is that that's a good mic drop, honestly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
A
Very
lot of
good
depth,
visioning of where relating to the 3, and then eyes back to the quarterback
and then melts back under, right? Expands
because
and
they're
melts
trying to
back.
get here, aren't they?
Yeah.
But like, why not do what they did in the last play, but have this out,
So
this here, and then this behind?
so with Jackson's route running an actual glance this time, like you said, the whole principle here is you've got DK isolated on the weak side. So if they want to cone DK, then Jackson should be the target. If they poach Jackson, then
Right.
your eyes should be snapping back to DK.
But I guess the reason that didn't happen is because it's 3rd and 10, so they're really just playing for this. And by the time this, he may have been thinking, "Hey, I can get this here eventually because Colby's going to find the space here in between," which he kind of did. But
Also, with 3rd and 10, they might think they might have a bracket on Jackson. Then Colby's deep stick should have more space, right? But they're just not getting the techniques that they want
no,
from the defenders. In which
it just
case,
doesn't seem like it should be this difficult in the red zone and this
yeah,
similar back to back, and yet
everything that
similarly
happens,
not effective as well.
everything that happens on this play should lead Gino back to DK, and the pressure, I think, has Gino being sensitive there.
I think if he's not pressured, I think he tries to make this throw.
You think so? That would have been sick. I would have loved it if he did get that off before they squeeze it. Or is DK even open? Is he targetable?
DK's like half open.
It's throwable at least.
Yeah, he's boxing it out and getting away with a push off.
Yeah, which hey, if DK is gonna be like, I'm gonna be a dig route runner, he knows he's gonna do it by pushing off on people. I'm all for it. Get flagged occasionally, but like if you want to body people at the top of your route to break off horizontally, I'm all for it. Like I'm all for that version of DK where he's just saying, screw it, I know my feet aren't gonna get me open, but my hands will.
Absolutely. Okay, so nice start to this one. 2nd and 3. Then back-to-back Wildcat. How do we feel? Mm.
I think we love it when it works and we hate it when it doesn't.
Yeah, it's great. um, I don't know. Oh, that's not great.
The one thing though is that it gives defenses a lot to think about when they're charting the Seahawks offense, like having all this auxiliary crap to deal with.
Yeah, and trying to get personnel tells when both Walker and Dallas have carried the football directly.
Yeah. I mean, if anything else, Waldron's making a pain in the ass for opposing
Oh
defensive
wow, that's a tough
quality.
block on that's a tough block on Brown having to get back to. I mean, because they have the play here if Parkinson doesn't get pushed back into, because Parkinson's taken out this guy, but but it bubbles out because of this backfield stuff. Parkinson's blocking here, right, and they're wrapping around, but this causes it to bubble out. Anyway, so what do we get here now? 3rd and 2. Okay. So zone indicator, corner over running back in the backfield, and then cornerback over tight end. Oh, I remember this. This was tough. It's an interesting play to call here. Oh no. So I don't know why they run like a man concept even though it's zone, right? Is that a safety?
Not
No.
sure. Well,
Maybe it is. Let me get up the Panthers depth chart.
It's mesh, right? So when you run mesh sit, like the sit route is supposed to be the zone.
But like the way that they're running all these crosses is telling me. Oh, that's their nickel back apparently. Troy Hill. So maybe, and is that a corner?
Are you trying to like maybe they're showing man and then playing zone?
No, I think this is like their go-to man beater. The way that they've got all these crossing routes and then the rub in for the flat to the back. I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter because they get a fire zone anyway, right?
Yeah.
And they need 1 yard. It's just unfortunate that Lewis gets pushed back into the release of Walker, who, if we're being honest, is probably catching this ball and getting it. Yeah, I don't know, though.
You only need 2 yards.
To me, this is a concept you call when you know you're getting man-to-man, and they didn't get man-to-man.
But do you think the Carolina's trying to show man and then fall off into zone?
But I don't know if they are showing man. Did Troy Hill play left corner in this game, or was he playing like a safety type?
Honestly, I thought he was their nickel, so...
Okay. Well, maybe then they are showing man and falling off into like a fire zone. But it's just... Yeah. You'd expect guys driving over here, but the fact that this corner doesn't... Ultimately, even if this is caught without the tripping over, the guy who's stopping this getting the first down is this corner, but also this guy with quarterback vision because he's not in man.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think they'd have picked it up anyway. It just seems like an odd... Like, every time I've seen them call this, it's because they know they're getting man-to-man defense and it's short yardage. And here, this is not man. And you've got too much quarterback vision, too many defenders in a spot rather than pinning the hip of someone.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so that's tough. And then did they kick the field goal? They did. Wow. Oh no.
So
again, I don't understand what
So throw the stick, right?
Yeah, I don't know why Gino doesn't throw to DK here. Maybe because of this?
Oh, so he starts backside.
Yeah, but bang.
So this is a half field read thing. There's no way it's glance flat pretty much. Oh, there's a penalty or a slant flat.
Hmm.
I don't know, man. This
And I
is
think he
strange.
thinks he can get it maybe to, um, well,
Trying to
I
throw a
know he doesn't
touchdown
think
to
that.
Walker.
No, he
I'd love
doesn't think
that if
that.
he
That would have been so cool. Look at this little cut.
look at the corner being a coward against Ken Walker on the outside. Maybe it's to play smash though, because he's
But
probably thinking if he would probably hitch, so I need to watch out for Fant.
yeah, I felt this ball could have come to DK.
It absolutely needs to, man.
But it's
Yeah,
again that kind of thing of not being able to quite step into that, and then not having the arm strength to not float that. Like he needs to be able to step into
yeah,
it, right?
because it is far hash, right?
Yeah. And
I don't know. I don't
whoever
know.
this is, let's number 40. Let's learn that name.
Isn't that Deion Jones?
Oh, is it? Yeah, it is. You're right. Good hook dropper still.
Apparently, yeah. Throw it, DK Gino. Throw it, bro. Like, come on, dude. And like Gino is usually like automatic in quick game. Like, absolutely, his brain is like way ahead of what his body's doing in quick game.
Yeah.
So why is he not even boom, snap, throw it, boom? I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know. Weird stuff. You have to think
And
the front
then
was in his head a little bit, right?
illegal formation, right?
Yeah, no one's on the line of scrimmage.
Okay.
It's
So
illegal.
first and 15 because of the illegal formation. Interesting they took in the red zone first and 15 over second and 10.
Yeah, especially considering their performance in second and long to that point. I don't know.
So there's that shift into the tight end again. We saw it be a run last time and it's inside zone again. Don't love that, but
Tough running from Walker.
very tough.
So they clearly want to. I mean, wait, do they RPO here? Or is it zone read? Yeah, they RPO again.
Yeah. Same play, basically.
I mean, I think they trust their blocking.
There we go, Bradford. Look at that.
Walker's making music.
he's
It's
that would
very
be
that's a very Mike Davis, isn't it? Right there.
oh yeah, remember him?
Like the way he would dance and find the bubble.
Yeah, because most backs just stick their foot in the ground and try and go up here and get one arm tackled by this guy, right?
Yeah, like he kind of he sets the 2-eye up actually. Like this is intentional from him.
Kind of.
He still overdoes it,
He
but it
definitely
works
overdoes
though.
it.
He C Mike moment. Honestly,
So
C
second
Mike
and
was a little
10 now.
sharper than that, but
Similar motion of the tight end out here. Here's the boot off it.
okay,
One of
right.
the
Like
naked boots. This is a lovely design. And this is something which emerged in this game. Rather than like having screens, they're like dumping the ball off to the underneath off play action and stuff, and a bit of misdirection. Like this is being a throwback, and then they're getting a block out front.
mhm.
I mean that's a really nice play,
Yeah.
and off the exact same. The tight end is in the backfield. He motions out here. Now they put a guard to help sell it, but it's similar kind of fake the run to Walker, which we've just shown that run out of this similar shift.
Yeah, that's really
I think this is all just window dressing, but they know like, especially pressed up, but they know this corner's running with DK's dig like he has been in cover 4. They've got trips over here, so they know the safety's going to be looking out over on this side in cover 4. They know that backside corner with the safety looking over here has to follow DK, and they know with the back out here to create the room out here.
Split flow.
They're all melting over here.
The split flow kills it because the mic, like the mic has to key number 3, right? But he's trying to get ahead of what he thinks is going to push out to the field.
Yeah, and then he's thinking, oh snap, this boot out here. I need to get out here and get in this window.
Yeah.
And by that point,
there's no one to leverage number 3 with at that point because, like you said, the back releasing weak holds the will, the weak quarter flat defender.
yeah,
That's also a downside to locking on DK though, the weak.
yeah, 100%.
So DK helps set this up, right, to an extent, like the gravity of DK.
And this is why so many teams play half quarter, not cover 4. Because if you don't have like a flat presence on the outside of one of the sides of the field, then you can get run off pretty easily.
Good point, yeah. So
lovely design here. And kind of exploiting the ways in which the Panthers were causing Seattle problems. Like, if you think about it, I mean, forget the boot here, but if you think about what Seattle was doing in the first half, they were having a hitch outside, weren't they? They were having trips. They were having this guy run in, this guy run a seam, and this guy run an out or a hitch, right? With DK backside on the route. It's a very similar concept here, except the tight end does something,
And you're just never thinking like shotgun boot throwback.
No, it's just nasty.
You're just not thinking that, especially when he blocks initially. Like, you're thinking a slam release or a delay flat. You're not thinking this. It's pretty cool. All right.
So 1st and 5. It's a bit easier now.
Yeah, just run the ball.
Oh, there we go, Stone Forsyth.
Yep. There you go.
Yeah.
Looking like Dwayne Brown.
It never looks like he knows his full potential. Like, he could have knocked this. He could have got a pancake here,
Yeah. Stone is a guy who will get better and better. He gets better and better throughout games because he has to rely on his reads of who he's going up against to know how to adjust. But then, like, he has traits.
And I have to say, Colby Parkinson, his blocking has been very good this year.
Agreed.
For the tall body, but Walker's jittering around is so
annoying.
It's annoying. Yeah.
But
it works. He makes it work.
Working. If he's making it work for himself now. Just his jump cuts are just too wide. He doesn't need to be that.
Yeah, he like outruns all the space, right?
Right. Yeah. But again, his contact balance lets him gather himself and just balance in general. So they run it again.
Damn, if Gino kept this.
Yeah.
I don't think so. Okay.
But I like the principle. They're saying you're not going to block us 3 times in a row.
No.
So
yeah, I mean, this was a big drive. This was winning football.
That was really good from Ken. Like how look how tight he is off of Colby.
Yeah, and then bang. Yeah, that's kind of what we're talking about, where it's not wide cuts; it's a tight.
Yeah, boom, like
shimmy.
Really tight, a tight cut. I mean, who does that remind you of? Running out of gun right there, bending off the backside, or banging off the backside, really inside zone.
Chris Carson.
Yeah, Chris Carson.
There you go.
That's. I mean, if Ken can get Chris Carson's feel for the wash.
Yeah, still a bit wide, but yeah.
He'll be the greatest running back who ever lived. So the fact that he's
and again, Colby, this is not an easy block. Like that is that
Burns.
Look at that.
Yeah.
He takes the guy where he wants, underneath the pads, and then throws him inside.
Excuse me. Yep. I was really worried that Walker was going to try to hit this front side and just push the pile, which maybe it would have worked. If he's off of 75 and 74.
Yeah, I don't think it would have. I don't think you get it. I think there's not enough space. There's too many bodies.
But he just feels this. I don't know. If
you know, with Will Dissly out, I was concerned about the blocking tight ends. Like, I was concerned that Colby really held his own.
Yeah. Yep. Colby's
this is a good view, Griff, if he could have. I just don't think there's enough here. I think he has to cut that back. Yeah. It would have been concerning if he tried to hit it here.
Yep. So I mean, he stops his feet, jump cuts, and then pins it tight off of Colby's butt. So
Okay.
all right.
And they just started running. And this is, again, an awesome like counterpunch to how the Panthers were playing them. So, again, we are expecting middle field open. We're expecting this corner to follow stuff. Look, he's pressed up. So the release of Tyler Lockett here is what I want to first focus on, and how he runs this corner to the inside, then takes out this block as well. Now, why that's important is Seattle's pulling their U tight end and also a guard. So they're getting two guys. Well, one guy for one. They have the numbers, and this edge is already really tight. And we know how Walker, and even tighter than it was pre-snap. Like, that's already tight. Now it's even tighter, and then Walker can just, like, there's a lot of space out here. Like, down at the goal line, teams aren't going to be able to deal with that. I think they're actually playing man, which is, I guess, a surprise. Maybe not for Seattle, but it's kind of nuts. But then the tight ends as well. Really great work from Colby Parkinson, sealing again, in throwing his guy across the play, because ultimately if this guy stays outside, then Fant may try and block him too, but instead it clears up the picture for Fant to then get this backer, Lewis, bang, and yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to, like, this doesn't get blocked up the way counter usually gets blocked up, right? Because the Y...
it's more like, it's almost like power, you know?
Yeah, the Y with inside leverage ends up taking out the end man line of scrimmage. So yeah, you can tell Noah's like, wait, who do I block? And then he's like, well, I'll just climb. So it's like Noah and Colby exchange pretty much. Noah ends up taking the spill fitter.
Yeah. So what Griff's saying is Parkinson here would climb up to 54, and Fant here would take out this edge player here, but Parkinson
Lewis
in the moment is able to make an incredible play, which just makes ultimately Fant almost isn't needed. But
he's an extra guy front side, right?
And then Parkinson nuts play,
right? And then that allows Lewis to be an extra guy. Like Lewis's glancing blow on the corner allows Ken to just take it all the way to the outside.
And this is how you run the ball. You know, we saw them try that wide zone thing on the Bear front. Again, an example of learning. This is how you try and move the ball on them. You create two C gaps on the Bear front, and then you start pulling. And if you can make the back blocks that you need to, which good enough job from Brown and this wash here, then you're in a good spot. And ultimately, they were playing really tight up front anyway, so. Okay, and then finally, Griff, because they did score again, which is remarkable, really. Yeah, we don't need that one. Bobo. he's gonna feature in a little sniffer role, trying to play around with tendencies. That's kind of the Walker getting yards, but it's an almost frustrating way of how he does it. Like, this is duo, right? I don't know why he doesn't press this more on Kerhan's butt and then try and bounce it up. It's just very...
Maybe he thought he had a hole and he wanted to hit it.
Yeah. Yeah, he might not have seen 13.
It's still his version of patience, though.
Yep, finding the inside yard, because he could very easily try and bounce this outside and get a tackle for loss, right? Like, he could go out here.
That could have been a TFL or a no gainer.
Mm-hmm. And again, the gap concepts, the Bear front, they're able to get the down blocks done well, and then two pullers coming round. I mean, this is beautiful. Kerhan doesn't even need to make his block because, again, it's a very narrow edge suddenly when you've got a wide-ass slot and then nothing here. That edge is wide. They spill it, which is... Oh, they're really messed up here.
The linebackers are bossed over. Well, not entirely, but
are they trying to play man then? Yeah, they must be. Oh no,
it's hard to defend the run in man.
It is, especially
the second level. Yeah, the second level has no idea what it's doing. It was the same thing on that counter run, the other one.
And Dion Jones almost made a play. Like, he starts head up on the backer, has to outrun a puller, almost made the play, but didn't. And then Charbonnet delivers the highlight. And intelligent from Bobo here. Good release plan to occupy, take off, make him man turn to you, look where the ball is, and then get your block going.
Yep. And Forsyth might make the most important block.
Yeah, this is a really good down block, right, on this 3-tech.
He can't cross face and mess anything up, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, Bradford does a good enough job, like self-immolates a little bit.
Because what this is creating is, and why it's tough for the man coverage, is it's essentially creating 4 guys into the boundary. This. So rotation-wise, especially when you've got 5 guys down the line of scrimmage, you start running out of bodies, and spacing, it just creates so much out here.
Yeah.
I don't know how they should really play this better. In their call, it's just very difficult.
Yeah.
Vince asked if the Panthers were mirror stepping. I mean, yeah, but it's a tougher block for Forsyth, this guy being a 4-eye, in some ways, because he's less inside. So if he's super inside on the guard, then it's, you have less. He's already where you want him to be, so you just have to go get him.
And Forsyth knows a mirror stepping 4-eye could work back, and he doesn't want to let that happen.
He doesn't know exactly where he's going.
He wants to keep him in the B gap.
But here, because he's closer, Forsyth's able to get his hands on him quick. That's a very good block.
Takes him to the hash. Because if he does cross face quickly, say he keys that immediately, if he crosses face quickly, there's going to be a domino effect. Now the edge can blow up.
Bradford would probably get caught up in that, and then it's dead. He's able to make the play over the top.
Yeah, or at least flattens it out,
Yeah.
And he's not getting up. Look, he almost gets him, right? Like, it's actually closer than you'd think based off this angle. So if Forsyth doesn't make the block that he does, there's a domino effect, and Charbonnet might shrug Jones off, but he's probably not getting all the way up to the 2-yard line or whatever he gets to. It might be more like the 10 or the 7, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, and Vince, like, mirror stepping isn't. I'm not saying you're saying this, but while it didn't work for Seattle in some ways, like, mirror stepping isn't, like, automatically bad. I think it's important. I'm not saying, like I said, I'm not saying you were saying that, but as a podcast, we should clarify that because we have been negative about it from a Seattle perspective, but it does work for some teams. There's positives and negatives to every approach. 12 personnel. Oh yeah, I hated this alert. I think they did this earlier in the game, and it was pretty obvious. I think they see this soft edge out here, but they all know what was happening, and they had to get the play off, I think. Damn. Good luck with that.
Yeah, rough.
Not much more to say about that. But then, finally, Griff, the awesome moment for Jake Bobo. Now, here he is. you'd call that a choice route, right?
Well, hold on. Is it an RPO? No, no, no.
No, it's just hard play action. They're all
Yeah.
pass protecting.
Uh, it might. It might be I don't know, because if
No,
it is, the defender's so square. Does that
just
just
an
mean?
angle.
Well, it could be win inside until
I
you
mean, they
can't
get
type of
cover
thing.
zero, right?
Yeah. Well, all right. Can you run a choice right off play action? Really?
No. But what I really like about this is stem wise, and Seattle had been running a lot of like flat, and then this guy like on a deeper out, or you know, this guy on the out, this guy on a corner. But because it's the red zone, this guy flat, this guy out, right?
Yeah.
This looks the hip angle and everything. It looks like it could be a break to the outside until it isn't, and then it's very sudden.
That's a devious release from
It
Bobo.
is, and he just understands the timing on each player of what he's able to.
Get away with and what he's
Yeah,
not able to get away with. That's sudden, man. He's sudden. Like, how many guys that big or that tall are that sudden, you know?
it's sneaky quick, you know.
Yeah, it's sneaky quick. Honestly, it's not sneaky. It's loud as hell, like, at that frame. He's, he looks so light on his feet, you know?
And great ball placement from Gino. And
Yeah,
then, like, we're not even talking about the way he got his feet
and he
in
takes a
bounds is
hit, too.
nuts. Like, what? I thought live that he hadn't got. I thought he'd done the best job he could, but I didn't think he'd got them both in. The fact he had the control, as Lee points out in the chat, to two tap in, and almost he's able to contort his body to get them in. At he's almost waiting with his lower. He's kind of good. Like, he's kind of good.
Yeah, I want to see more Boba. More Boba.
I do as well. Like, he's
And he protects the
very
ball from the
interesting.
punch out,
Like
right?
on the old, and I love how Blitz. I meant to say this. Blitz got taken out. I love this. Yeah, like imagine getting boboed and then having to trip over the opposing team's mascot. And yeah, Gino OG3, you're right. Gino did get kind of he got kind of smacked here.
Took one for the team.
That
yeah.
that is roughing. Like, that is 100%. You can't do that. Hold on. 1, 2. Yeah. Would Patrick Mahomes get that call? Probably. But that's why you also, OG3, you see teams not do hard play action like that, especially in short yardage, because that ball has to come out fast, and even then, guys can hit the quarterback. All right, Griff. So that's how the offense got better.
All right. So be
What's
better
up?
on second downs.
Yeah, do better on second downs. Don't have penalties, and Gino, get used to your pass pro. I think that will have happened. Griff,
Yep.
should we leave the defense for another day, because
Maybe.
it's an hour and 30 minutes in?
Do we?
I think.
Want to do? Do we want to do 2 plays? Maybe. Just
Oh,
2.
okay. We can do 2 plays. You're insatiable.
I want to talk about dictating the slide.
Okay, Griff wants to talk about dictating the slide. Brilliant. Do you have a particular player in mind, or should I?
Try to find one that is not an overload line. Just any classic nickel over.
Mm-hmm. And then like a third down, right?
Sure, that'd be fine.
It'd be fine, would it?
Twould indeed.
Over. The problem is they used quite a lot of overload lines in this game. Let me go to an
It really
earlier
did,
example.
which is the principle. So what we're getting at here is week 1 and most of week 2 in the classic 5 or the classic most common protection is half slides. So the center slides to one side. So they usually are getting 3-on-2 to one side and then 2-on-2 on the back side. So it's like a zone side and a man side. Typically, they're sliding to Draymond's side, the 3 technique. Usually the 3 technique has the better angle than the nose, and he's usually a better pass rusher, which I would say generally Draymond is a better pass rusher than Jaren Reed, or is supposed to be. Jaren has been popping
He's
off.
paid to be.
Right. He's paid to be. So, but Jaren's been more of a problem through 2 games prior to this point. And additionally, Clint Hurt has been having the will show pressure and or sending him a lot. So there's been sliding. The will is on the noses side. So they most of the time anyway. So they've been forcing the slide to the 1 technique side. That's then giving the 3 technique a 1-on-1 with the guard and a 2-way go. And there's just been a lot of dividends being paid from there. So
yeah. Let me find an actual pass with over. And again, there's schematic things that you want to talk about from off this that isn't there. So let me just actually find the good play. 43-55, that should be. That's not. Have I mischarted this?
it's a cheetah front.
Oh, there you go.
Okay. So we see the center slide to Jaren, right? They're sliding to the 1 technique. That means Draymond has a 2-way go on that side. Now he doesn't win. Like kind of, he doesn't really win.
And what Griff's saying is generally the nose and the 3 will slide. The nose and the guard will slide to this side, and so Jaren will be 1-on-1 with the guard. But when he's in that 1 tech, so close to the center, he has more of an inside angle on the guard, right?
Right. So it's just giving space to the 3 technique side. Is a lot of what we're seeing. Now, what's funny is this game, even though they were sliding to Reed, he was still splitting that A gap. But then also, Clint didn't want them to neutralize Reed from that. So then he was giving them overload lines so that either they're in man protection or they're sliding, but to a slide to an overload line, it's still 3-on-3. Everyone's getting their 1-on-1. So no one's getting doubled.
Yeah, let me find some of the sacks. I think the Maffei sacks. No, come on. The Maffei sack's a good example of that kind of space that the 3 tech, and then consequently the kind of edge is allowed. So let's just get to that. Okay, so never mind. It's not what I thought it was. Okay, let's talk about it anyway though. So this 1 technique, the fact he's playing over the center creates an even bigger B gap bubble. If he was lined up on the inside shoulder of the guard, this gap is still a bubble, right? It's still an opening, but it's less wide. Because it's so tight, it means that if this guard is going to block this way, like say on a run fake, but also in pass protection, if they chose to double the nose and leave a 1-on-1 out here, it means that the inside move and the angles for this outside backer, he has more space here, right? Now, on this play, they fake this way and Jones drifts out to the guard, but because it's a flat angle of departure, I guess this isn't the best example, but the outside backer is essentially able to take the space and get the sack. And also, if this was a run, this is how they'd want to play it too, because he's able to beat blocks into the backfield. The way that their edges are accented against the run is very cool this year. Mm-hmm. But let's get to an actual example of what Griff was talking about. So that's the first sack. And that was an important sack, by the way, because if you look at Adam Thielen, they actually had a leak play open but leak plays require time and pass rush solves issues. Now maybe that gets fallen off on, but I don't think so.
Yeah.
Okay. 10:49. So this is a 2-3 tech front where they do double A gaps. So Griff, what does that mean to you?
Well, it's going to force man protection, so everyone just is blocking the guy to their outside shade, pretty much.
Right.
And then it will also keep the running back in.
Yeah,
So
and
they end up,
sometimes you see this running back move up behind the center almost to give him an easier angle to block one of these guys, right?
mm-hmm. So it's 6-on-6 pretty much.
Yeah.
And then when you've got 1-on-1s, you see, is anybody going to win? Is anyone going to win their 1-on-1? Really good move from Jaren. I broke this down in my tape breakdown of Jaren's game.
Make sure you check that out, people.
Yeah, check it out if you guys got time. What's so impressive about this from Jaren is that the handwork, he never lost the handwork there. Like, he's always had this, but what he hasn't had since for a long time is right there when he gets that 5 yard line or the 35 yard line. He's usually getting ridden off to like 9-10 yards, and he'll bend really late, but he's bending right at that 5 yard line and flattens out about 7-8 yards.
He takes advantage of that guard being turned and the fluidity with how he's able to not lose speed, not get ridden off, like you said, like almost snatch rip through, right?
Yeah.
That is crazy. That's like high level pass rush.
Yeah.
And again, with the double A gaps and them geared up to pass rush, he can get a wider angle. Like, he's basically playing what we call a 4 tech, right? That's a very loose 3.
Yeah.
Oh my word.
Yeah. Look at him match the hand, like forklift.
He's been having a very good off season.
Yeah, he has not looked this quick, man, in years, dude. Like, and like he looked fluid and quick against Detroit.
It's that the sockeye salmon, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's the Northwest like air. It's refreshing.
Right. He's been looking at the volcano.
But the other thing is, like, the reason why Reed popped so much is that Clint Hurt dedicated a lot of time to getting him 1-on-1s, and I think Reed could also, like, there's a positive feedback loop from that. Reed then knows he has more chances. He knows he can time the snap up with a silent count with the stadium behind him, right?
Right.
So there's just dividends on dividends with it.
Mm-hmm.
And like Mario Edwards had good rushes because he was getting 1-on-1s opposite Reed.
Yeah.
And even in Cam Young out there, like what they're doing with the will is making them slide to the nose, to the 1-tech side a little bit, because the will is showing pressure, and they want the running back to release. They don't want the running back to stay in and block. They want 5 out in the pattern, not 4.
Which helps you better defend the check down, right?
Right. Yeah. So the offense has to make a choice. We either slide to the 3 technique and keep the running back in there, or we continue to slide to the nose tech, release the running back, or the 1 tech, release the running back, and then now we have to trust our guard with a 1-on-1 on Mario Edwards or Draymond. So Seattle's got all these options. Now we can especially think as they bring Jamal back, and Jamal's playing Will and dime or Jack and dime, and Brooks plays Mike, hopefully, then they're really going to have to come up with an option of, do we want Jamal, like, do we want to let him loose into our backfield? Do we block him with the running back? Do we play 6-man pro? Do we just play Bob straight up when Jamal's on the field, like all the time, so they have built-in answers? Do they play 6, so
one thing I also want to talk about for people is Seattle at home. The crowd noise is especially important because they want offenses to have to go silent count and silent communication up front, and have to get the center to point out the mic point. So the mic point being, this is the side we're going to slide to and put our 3 guys to. This is the side we're going to play man protection on. Or in this case, where Griff's saying, this left tackle's got this edge, this left guard's got this 3 tech, this center has to pick one of these guys, this guard has this 3 tech, this tackle has this outside backer, this back has this guy or this guy. In this case, they tell Seattle pre-snap who has what. So if you watch Dalton point out Bobby Wagner, and the center's like, I kind of see that, and so the center goes for Bobby, and it makes sense with the back's side, right? Like he wouldn't be asked to cross the face, but the back then takes Brooks. Now you'll see. Hopefully, there's an example of like that playing out. Now, why does the pass rush matter? Well, if you look down the field, concept-wise, top of the drop, Dalton thinks about throwing this out route, but he can't because if he tries to throw that, it's probably a fumble. But the out route is kind of... There's a window. Remember Stafford hit that one on the sideline to Puka Nacua? Great throw and catch, but like man coverage you can beat with these types of throws. Love drives to this well and does recover, even though his catch isn't... It's not the most physical.
You're
does
betting
absorb it in transitions. Okay, what?
You're betting that the quarterback can't make a perfect throw every time.
Yeah,
and eventually, the law of averages will fall to your side. Like Stafford, it's like okay, fine. If he's just on that day, then all right, But yeah. So the fact that they've got guys up front that can win, and when Jamal comes in, he will have impact even when he's not blitzing, and he'll have impact even when he's not getting pressure himself because it means in the aggregate, guys are getting one-on-ones. So
yeah,
it's all part of a bigger picture.
absolutely. Okay, so Griff, this next play is what we're saying when we talk about an overload front, right?
Yeah. So you got three guys. I mean, there is a tight end, right? But you've got three guys to one side of the center, basically.
Yeah, long time listeners of the Seattle Overload podcast, you should know what this is.
Yeah.
This is our name. Look at the logo, guys. Come on.
Now, I don't remember if this is slide, half slide, or if it's Bob, big on big.
Should we try and tell pre-snap from what the center shows?
Sure. You got the guard pointing.
The guard. So they're sliding. So you see how they've pointed over here, and then he's now pointing here. So that implies that they're sliding out here, probably keeping the tight end in. Yeah. So they all slide here. This is the man side. And they've done that so they can release their running back, I think.
Yeah.
So again, it's the math equation. They wanted to release their back. So how do we get the numbers back? If 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys can come, well, what we're going to do is we're going to slide the center out here. We're going to play the guard here. We're going to try and get some numbers advantage here, and then play man over on this side to free up the running back.
And look what it does for Reed, right?
And because that's that one technique, right? Like,
yeah,
he's just got, it's like playing 3-tech but closer to the quarterback, isn't it?
Right, exactly, man. So it's really
vertical path up.
So it's really featuring the nose. Like that's what the overload front does for them. And as this becomes a problem, then you can already envision stunts, right? Like a twist with the 3-tech.
Yeah. And Jordan Brooks is on this running back, okay, in coverage, but the guard isn't able to help out here. Along with the fact that even if the guard did notice that Brooks isn't in there, he's not able to help on this side. It's really difficult overload lines because that center is basically put on an island, because the guard can't go and help the center on this side because he has the 3-tech. Even though they're sliding that way, you are overloading. You're putting 3 on one side. Yeah.
And then eventually, the thing is, Reed's going to know centers are going to overset to him.
And then you can take it inside.
He'll hit the counter because he knows that backside guard doesn't have eyes on him because it's not a 4-man slide. So I'm actually curious to see if we see 4-man slides from center, from offensive lines, because they're so worried about Reed. And if you do, then that really frees up the Will or the Jack, right? To send him. And then that's when we start to see the more five man pressures. What did Ken Norton Jr. call it? Wolves.
I think so.
Yeah, so they'll find ways to get 2-on-1s on the backside.
Yeah, so when you say full slide, you mean this guard going over
So
here, the back having Brooks,
mm-hmm.
and then this tackle handing the edge out here.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing with the overload line, which Nwosu benefited from against the Rams, is, this tight end's a bit annoying, but he is there. But essentially, this guy's going to be one-on-one on the backside, especially when you mug it like this. So not only are you doing it, and Griff, they did this when they had really good pass rushes back in the day, right? To get one-on-ones for
Bennett, Averill,
Mike Bennett, yeah.
Donald, yeah.
So you can get, the 49ers, I think they put Nick Bosa as where Nwosu is, because you're going to get the one-on-one on that side. Now, again, if we look down the field, how does this help? Well, they're playing cover 4, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Just cover 4. Oh, this is only a chip. But there's just... Dalton hasn't even hit the back of his drop, and because Reed is so close to him, it's just game over.
Yep. God, he explodes in the backfield, bro.
And Witherspoon doesn't even need to cover... his press is enough, Yeah, so this is still it's like a 7-man protection, right? But it's not. It's a 5-man, but with chips from the tight end and the back. So what I said earlier is not accurate, really. Yeah, so they're sliding out here and they're manning over here.
Right.
So that's pretty huge. This mugging prevents them from for getting this guy out here.
God, I can't wait for Jamal to be back.
Well, yeah, because you can, and that's where they'll also probably play magic fronts, right? So this guy's a 0 tech, and then 2 stand up 3 techs. One of them being Jamal, maybe one of them being a Will, and then your 2 outside backer types. You could even play Jamal as an outside backer as well. But why you play these different fronts is you can start finding the fish on the offensive line and put in your different types of players on the fish, on the fish out of water, the worst player. And that's what Seattle will do. Now, the key to all of this is getting in these passing downs where that is a more inviting look to run on at times. There's actually cool things teams do to play the run to help with that. But
yeah,
the key is getting in those big third downs, because you can't play this on first down and play winning football, obviously. So the good news is Seattle's run defense being actually good this year.
That's the anchor point. That's the schematic pivot point, is the run defense working in those looks. They can access all of their defense because of it, which, they've phased out of odd space, really. They phased out of bear. They'll need it against really heavy personnel, but it was a good run. It was a very useful tool for them. It kept them competitive, right? But now they're all right, we need a pass rush. This is all in the effort of solving second down, right?
There you go.
That's what it is.
Make sure you check out Griff's tweet on second down defense at @SeemLikeSpinMove. Follow me on Twitter at MattyFBrown. Follow the podcast at Seattle Overload. Like and subscribe to the video. Thank you everyone for joining live. Lee, I hope your wife is okay with you watching the game for the 3rd time. I'm sure she'll understand. Thank you everyone else as well. And if you're listening, please do review, 5-star reviews, etc., etc. I'll have a film breakdown coming on a mystery Seahawks topic player. That will be up when you've listened to this, or it'll come out on Friday. And until then, until that Monday night where we'll be live with our post-game show, this has been Seattle Overload, and we appreciate you for our film. I love how our two topics are just actually, they're leading us to talk even more about tape. But that's fine. It is what it is. Okay, Griff, you're not even going to say goodbye to people. That's very rude.
Bye, everybody. Bye.
Oh. Well, eat your spinach.
Goodbye.